Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm going to run through my December TBR with you. First up, I should mention my TBRs are always super ambitious. I just like to have a big stack that if I end up getting through them all, great. I usually don't. So I usually have around 10 books on my TBR. My average reads in a month is maybe 6 to 8, 10 on a really good month. So probably not going to read all of these, but we'll see how we go. First up, we've got The Dragon's Heart by Alysha King. I'm currently reading The Order of the Rose by Alysha King, which is the first in this series, and I'm on a blog tour for this one. So I'm only about 5 chapters into The Order of the Rose. It's okay, it hasn't really captured me yet, but it's not bad. We'll see where that goes. It's a fantasy series set in magical realms with wizards and witches and sorceresses. It sounds interesting. I hope I get into it and I hope I like it. So that'll be my first 2 reads of the month if everything goes well. Next up, we have both Salvation and Salvation Lost. You probably remember in my last wrap-up video, I included Salvation, even though I wasn't technically finished. I wasn't finished. I've included it again in my TBR because I'm still halfway through. I don't know why I'm reading so slowly. I've just got a lot of events on and things, and I can't read as much as I usually do on the weekends, which is where I usually get a good chunk of my reading time in. So anyway, hoping to, after I finish my first 2, get to Salvation and Salvation Lost. I'm actually really excited for these ones because I was really enjoying this, and I've had to pause it because I'm on a blog tour for The Dragon's Heart, but I can't wait to get back into these 2. Next up is another series. It is The Queen's Tiger by Peter Watt, and I am going to read The Queen's Colonial by Peter Watt, which is the first in this series. Before I read this one, I just have not checked it out of the library yet. I've heard you don't have to read The Queen's Colonial first. Someone on Bookstagram just read this one as a standalone and said it was fine and she understood everything. I'm just a bit of a traditionalist when it comes to series. I always feel like I like to see all of the character development, and I like to read them chronologically. I know there's lots of crime writers out there that base 10 or 20 books around the same characters, and even with them, I like to start with the first ones. That's just what I like to do. So I will read The Queen's Colonial and then I will read this one. I've never read anything by Peter Watt before. There's a quote here from someone from the Canberra Weekly, one of Australia's best historical fiction authors. So interesting. I'm a fan of historical fiction, so looking forward to reading that. Next up is one I am really, really, really looking forward to. A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. I just read A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Court of Mist and Fury a couple of months ago. I was only just able to go out and buy this one. Really looking forward to it. A Court of Mist and Fury was one of my all-time favorite reads. I loved it. I now understand why everyone loves Sarah J. Maas. She's a genius. I love her. Really looking forward to this. I'm not usually super into YA fantasy reads. There's some good ones, I enjoy them sometimes, but this one I have fallen head over heels for. Love it. If I had to recommend one fantasy series at the moment, I'd say this one. This next one is one that Alan and Unwin sent me, The Clergyman's Wife by Molly Greeley. This is just an ARC copy, which is why there's quotes and everything on the front. I'm really looking forward to this one. This is a Pride and Prejudice novel, which means it's sort of like a spin-off of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I finished that one earlier in the year. I don't think this is in that classic style of Jane Austen, but I did just also watch the BBC version of Pride and Prejudice with Colin Firth. I know, I'm an idiot. I've never watched it before. Everyone told me, you have to watch that. So I watched that. It wasn't as good as I thought it would be. Anyway, never mind. I'm looking forward to this one. This one is about Charlotte Lucas. Anyone who's read Pride and Prejudice knows that Charlotte Lucas ended up marrying, I can't remember his name. He was the guy that wanted to marry Elizabeth and she said no to him. I can't remember. Anyway, in Pride and Prejudice, Charlotte Lucas well, actually, Charlotte Collins marries this guy because she doesn't love him, but she says he can provide for her, and that's what she wants in life. So this book explores that after she's married him, and I think she ends up falling for someone else, a local farmer. So I reckon this might be a good one. Next up, we have The Last Resort by Marissa Stapley. I have heard lots of good things about this one. There's quite a few reviews out there already. It's a resort where couples go to help save their marriage, and apparently the resort is not all that it seems. Really intriguing premise for this one, and I'm looking forward to that. And last up on my TBR for December is The Girl in the Painting by T. Cooper. This one sounds really interesting. It's a historical mystery. It also has a mathematical savant in it. If you don't know, I love maths. I know. But I'm always interested to see when they include mathematical things in books. So the mathematical savant comes along with her logical brain and penchant for puzzles and tries to unravel Elizabeth's story. Anyway, I won't go into the whole synopsis now. You can look that one up, but it sounds really good and I'm really excited to read that one too. So that's it for my December TBR. Wish me luck. It's taking me a week to read half of Salvation, so I don't know how I'm going to go reading 10 in a month. I'm sort of not seeing that happening in December. But anyway, if I can just get through the Salvation sequence books, the Queen's Colonial and the Queen's Tiger, and the Dragon's Heart and the Order of the Rose, I'd be happy with that. 6 books. We'll see how we go. Anyway, I will see you next time. Bye.